Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? This is Enrique of Spanish United. Today we have a special guest. Would you be kind enough to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, my name is Jillian Wahlquist, and I'm the Vice President of Tom's Toys. We're a small family-owned toy store chain in Southern and Central California.
Nice. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. So I'm glad we could connect.
Likewise. Yeah, I actually came across your toy store over in Montrose, but I wasn't aware that there was like another store like at different places. I thought it was like a mom and pop shop.
Yeah. There's actually two different locations. There's one actually in Beverly Hills and then one in San Luis Obispo. The stores have been around. The Montrose location, I think, has been around for over 60 years now.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a great store.
Yeah, because I live close to Montrose and I've always passed by it, and I had the opportunity to go there like 2 weeks ago when I bought some Playmobil characters. So I've been a fan of those
Mhm.
characters since I was little, so I decided why not.
Oh, me
And
too. Me too. I love those characters. They're great.
yes, yeah, and I didn't know that they were from Germany. I thought they were like Russian toys for some reason.
No. Playmobil is actually a German company. It's been around for, oh golly, now maybe 150 years now. It's a really old brand.
So I'm assuming that it's much older than Legos, right?
Yes. So I don't quote me on it. But I believe that Playmobil is older than Legos. Yes.
Yeah, because I know that Legos is a Danish company. Again, I didn't even know that was a Danish company, that it was
Mhm.
American.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, most of Lego manufacturing these days is actually in Mexico.
Oh, really?
They moved their factories to Mexico a few years ago, and it's actually been great from a supply chain standpoint. It's been really great having their factory that close.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so one of the reasons why I brought you on the show because I wanted to talk about toy stores and Hispanic children.
Mhm.
Hispanics are a community demographically when it comes to toys are very small, and a lot of it has to
Mhm.
do because of finances. Many of them come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, and one thing that really I would like to see is more involvement of toy stores in the Hispanic community, because I feel that if there is more involvement, like for example, like doing what I coined up to be diplomacy, I think it could
Mhm.
show Hispanic communities and Hispanic children that toy stores care about them, and at the same time, they try to make their lives a little bit better, because people don't realize that in the lives of children, toys bring a lot of joy. It's not just like,
Mhm.
okay, I have this toy, I have it there, play it one day and don't. No, there are people that have toys, even once they grow out of it, they still have that toy, until they die. I've seen cases like that. So I think that, toys are very precious, and I think it could do a lot for the Hispanic community, especially for the children, because it will help them understand, like for example, they can learn social skills, they can learn about how
Mhm.
families work and how to take care of things. So I wanted to get your feedback or your input on toy diplomacy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, toys are so important. I mean, we're just talking about Legos and building toys, building blocks, manipulative toys, so things that you can stack, things you can play, even from a very early age. I know that so much of life is digital now, but there is a certain tangibility to a physical toy. And as you were saying, like social skills, being able to communicate with your peers. I think that toys are something that bring people together, bring children together. So, children, they don't look at socioeconomic status, or anything like that when they're playing together. They just want to play. And so I think being able to bring toys to underserved communities is huge. I mean, I think so oftentimes, we think of necessities, and those are incredibly important. But, I think toys are really a development and educational tool. Even if you look at a toy and you think, oh, well, that looks like something fun, it's just for play. But when you're 3, 4, 5, and 6, or even, 2, 1.5, all play is learning, all play is exploration and, development. And I think that's something that's, critical for any community. I mean, any children of any age, having toys that can be played with again and again, cherished, passed down, remembered. I think that's very important.
I think it's very important as well. At the same time, I also believe that when children are given toys, I feel that they could also learn responsibility, because they'll learn to take care of it, to learn to keep it clean, and when they're done with it, they put it away and whatever. And I think that is something that in the Hispanic community, a lot of the children are missing. And I feel that if they are given, toys, or at least toys that they could, learn to take care of, and learn to, properly, look after, I think they could learn a lot of social skills from an early age. Because a lot of people don't realize that in the first 5 years of a child's life, the first teachers that they have is the parents. So a lot of parents need to be very cautious and very aware on how they're around their children, how they behave, how they act. Because even though they may be little or may not tell you, hey, mommy, daddy, why are you saying this or doing this? They observe, and they, are aware of what's going on. So I feel that if we, give them an example, at the same time, showing them that, hey, there are ways of resolving conflicts. And I think toys are an example. Like, I remember a long time ago, I used to have have you ever heard of Battle Beast? They're like these little figurine characters. Have you ever heard of them?
Oh, yeah. That was a little while ago, but yeah, I vaguely remember. I've been working in the toy industry for 17 years now, and so
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen I've seen a lot of things come through. But yes, the name does sound familiar.
Yeah, I would
Um,
say Battle Beast was like one of the first things that come from Japan way before Pokemon. So this was like Pokemon
mhm,
in the 80s. And I used to play
mhm,
those figurines. But one thing that I used to remember, that I learned a lot about science, a lot about elements. Like, I remember that every Battle Beast had like a little emblem, like in the middle.
mhm,
So if you were to like use your finger and rub it down, if it had the symbol of
mhm,
water, water puts out fire. If there was a symbol of fire, fire puts out wood. Or
mhm.
if it had the wood symbol, it will put out water. So I would learn about how science and how the elements work. And
Mhm.
again, I'm using these figurines to fight each other and whatever, but I learned a
Yeah,
lot about science through Battle Beast.
yeah, exactly. And like those Playmobil figurines you're talking about, they're it can teach younger children manipulation skills if you're snapping parts together. It teaches imagination and creativity if you're building a scene. It'll teach things like zoology and animals, because a lot of those Playmobil figures, especially the ones we have currently, are like little bags of animals. And one thing we oftentimes do is we'll talk to manufacturers a lot of times and see if they have product that maybe they have excess of, or something that they need to get rid of. And then we can actually bring that into, especially in the Montrose and San Luis Obispo locations, we can bring that into the stores and kind of give customers a little bit of a better value. So, so if maybe it's a child spending their own money, or somebody that, needs to be on a budget, oftentimes if you go into a Tom's Toys, yeah, you'll find kind of upper end toys as well, but you'll also find toys that are a little more value conscious, a little better priced, for those customers that are looking for a little bit of better value as well.
Hmm.
And oftentimes these manufacturers, like they'll have, things like 50 or 100 pieces or something that that they can't sell to like a Ross or a Marshalls, wouldn't want that few pieces, but it's something where we can come in and we can say, hey, we can buy this, and then we can offer a better value.
Okay.
And that's something that that's always kind of been in our business model for the last, 6 years we've been open, and it's really worked well in the community. I mean, people love us. I mean, we partner with schools a lot of times, local schools or other organizations, to have toy donations as well. So if you have an organization that you primarily work with, we'd be happy to donate to that too.
Yeah,
So,
Spanish United also wants to do like toy drives to bring like toys to the Hispanic community. So yeah, we would love to partner with you. Like if you have like
yeah.
surplus toys that you cannot sell or don't want or whatever, you could donate it to us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, we're always looking for more partners in that way. I mean, we've always been, as a toy store, just growing, and throughout the years. Our management team at the Montrose store is Hispanic, and so we listen to what they think a lot, in terms of like what products we bring in. We've actually been increasing our selection of Spanish books over time, over the last few years, because we've had a lot of requests for that. Yeah, and we love working with the local community in terms of just being able to kind of spread toys around. It's
Right.
like you can't have enough toys. Like, there's definitely times when it's like, parents might go, oh, maybe this is a little many, but in terms of having those like quality playthings that kids will enjoy, and they'll go to school and they'll come back and they'll look forward to having that time of like that just kind of free form imagination, because so much right now is just either digital or pressure to learn very very certain things, but sometimes you just need that little bit of time where you can have that exploration and play.
Right, I agree with you, and I think the best way to do that is through toy diplomacy. I think that's the best way of getting kids to get back into doing things that we used to do back then when we were kids. Because a lot of people see me, I look like a young guy, but I'm close to 40, and we didn't have social media back then. We didn't even have the internet when I was growing up.
Yeah, no, I'm only a couple years behind you, so yeah. Yep, exactly. I mean, it's not a lot of social media back then, not a lot of YouTube and things like that, but it's I just see the looks on kids' faces, like when there aren't a lot of toy stores left out there, and it's definitely something that I think toy stores could do better. I mean, us included, is serving those underserved communities. And so I think that just seeing the looks on kids' faces when they come into the store, and our store isn't small, it's like 5,000 square feet, and we have kind of that like warehouse shelving in there, and so it's like when they walk in and they just see all those toys and just walking around the aisles and just looking at it's like they're it's just great to see that. It's something that you don't see a lot anymore.
So
Right,
so I also wanted to ask, what would you say is the ratio of like Hispanic parents or Hispanic children that buy toys from your stores? Because I was looking up online that you were like the manager of the store in Beverly Hills, because that's what I was told.
Oh, I'm actually the company vice president. So
okay.
I actually do a lot of management for all three stores. And I mean, each store has a very different kind of customer base. But I would say actually all the stores are pretty diverse in terms of our customer base. I'd say that, in the Montrose store, I don't know. I don't really track, like what percentage of of the customer base, but I mean, I'd say it pretty much reflects the community. Like we have a large Asian population in the Montrose location. We have a sizable, a lot of Korean immigrants, and a lot of Armenian, a large Armenian population is there as well. So, and multi-generation families. So, first, second, and third generation immigrants. And so it's it's great to see the diversity. It's like just having all sorts of different people with all sorts of like different, cultural backgrounds coming in, and looking for certain toys or certain occasions as well. Like in the Beverly Hills store, it was actually Persian New Year a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know that, Iranian New Year.
Yeah,
And so
Nowruz.
yes. So, and I'm aware of a lot of holidays. That's one I missed. So, you learn something new every all the time. It's really great. And then up in San Luis Obispo, we actually, it's predominantly, San Luis Obispo is a little more on the white population side, but we do get a lot of diversity up there as well. Actually, a lot of tourists coming in from all over California.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a really great spot. If you're looking for like a California vacation spot, it's just a fantastic spot to go for the beach, and just the feeling up there is very relaxing. In terms of just being able to just see a little bit of nature. Like there's great hiking up there and things like that.
Yeah, it's a beach city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Pismo Beach is fantastic, and it's crowded most times of the year. But it's still a great place to go.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, how, from your perspective, how would you say toy stores can show to Hispanic children that they care about their needs and they want them to have things that they could use? So how would you come about that?
Well, I mean, as we discussed, I'm white. I'm not part of a minority population, so and I don't want to kind of speak to needs of a population that I'm not a part of. I know for our part, what we've been trying to do is, as I mentioned, bringing in more Spanish language books. That's one of our manager's requests, and I thought it was a fabulous idea. And then also, we've really worked over the years. This has been kind of my personal project over the years, is making our doll section more diverse. So making sure that when kids walk down, our doll section or action figure aisle, making sure they see a toy on that aisle that, that speaks to them, and having a selection in that area. So that's a few things that we've really been working on. And then again, I mentioned, just as far as like socioeconomic standpoint, any sort of community, just socioeconomic wise, making sure that we have kind of that, value potential there. So it's like, if you're on a budget, there's something, if you're if you want to buy something, really STEM related, high end, we have that too. It's like just trying to make sure that we have something for everybody there, no matter what. And that's difficult. It's difficult as an independent toy store competing with like Walmart or Target. And I know a lot of times that we can't match prices, and I'm never going to be upset at someone for, for shopping at the store that they can shop at. I've definitely been there too. I've been a starving college student. But it's it really trying to find something that, to the best of our ability, being able to, work with the community around us, and definitely on the donation side as well. So being able to partner with local schools is huge for us. And then also doing things like toy drives coming into the holidays, finding local toy donations and things like that we can really partner with, and not doing like large national toy drives, trying to find something where it really drills down in the community.
Yeah,
that we can speak out locally.
Yeah, something more on the grassroots level.
Exactly. Like we were chatting before we started recording on, it's like I feel like with the internet these days, like so many, it's easy to get national news, but being able to make a difference in your community on that grassroots level is incredibly important.
Yeah, and that's what Spanish United does. We may not be on the national news, but we always like to help people on individual basis, because even though the government may be able to help a lot of people, there's always going to be those that are going to fall through the cracks. So I think,
Mhm.
by us ourselves helping people on an individual basis, we could make a huge difference, because there's a lot of people that are always going to fall to the cracks because the system is imperfect. It's nobody's
Mhm.
fault. Even though you may have a progressive that may want to do a lot for the people, but there's always going to be one or two people that's going to be missed. So I think it's very important that
Mhm.
the grassroots, like in our organization, we can go to the people individually on an individual basis. Like, well, what we do is, like, we go into the field, we go and do like a intake, kind of similar to like a de facto social worker. We ask them, what are your needs, how long you've been going through this condition, etc. And then we try
Mhm.
to help them to the best of our ability within our resources, because again, we're doing everything grassroots. We survive
Mhm.
primarily on donations and on funding. Where
Yeah.
we're completely grassroots. We don't take anything from any politicians or any political parties. We're strictly a Hispanic first movement. So I think that it would be
Mhm.
wonderful, like, to partner with you guys, especially like bringing toys to like a lot of homeless Hispanics, that have children. That will
Mhm.
make a lot of joy for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd love to discuss that. And then the last thing that, I always try and remind, I always try and work on, and it's so tough, is to listen, to listen to the needs of the community. To listen what people are saying, and hearing, like, from you, it's like, hey, like, toy diplomacy, like, how can we get toys in the hands of the kids that need them? And that's huge. So,
Okay. I wanted to tell you, Jill, thank you so much for being on the show. I
yeah,
truly appreciate it. You've been a very awesome guest. So as soon as I'm done, I will send you the link and you could share it with whoever you want to share it with.
great. Sounds good. Thank you, Enrique.
Have
So it's
yourself
it's been a pleasure talking to you.
likewise. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll keep in touch.
Thanks. Take care. You too.
Bye bye.